So I was stunned by just how many agreed that solar roadways was a really dumb idea, because it got about $2 million of gullible saps. But then went on to say that they thought the solar wall would be a good idea because it would cost 1,000 times more in solar panels alone.
We're thinking about building the wall as a solar wall, so it creates energy and pays for itself.
And even though it shared almost all of the problems with solar roadways, they thought that for some idea it was a great idea because Trump. Well, they thought that my bias was showing. Well, yes, damn straight I have a bias against idiots, especially in leadership positions, and especially if the decisions that they are making are likely to have a long-term impact on the future of the planet. Damn straight I don't like Trump, the vaccine denialist, climate change denialist. Hell, how America ever got a birther for president is just kinda incredible. Yeah, I've always fought against people who promote pseudoscience. I'm being proved right about massive vaccinations. The doctors lied. Save our children and their future. Healthy young child goes to the doctor, gets pumped with massive shot of many vaccines, doesn't feel good and changes. Autism. Many such cases. Autism rates are through the roof. Why doesn't Obama administration do something about doctor-inflicted autism? We lose nothing to try. Snowing in Texas and Louisiana, record-setting freezing temperatures throughout the country and beyond. Global warming is an expensive hoax. The concept of global warming was created by the Chinese in order to make US manufacturing non-competitive. Give me clean, beautiful, healthy air, not the same old climate change, global warming bullshit. I'm tired of hearing this nonsense. Yeah, that's the sort of scientific ignorance that I fight against. You really think that's going to change just because it's Trump? I'm sorry guys, but if I bust solar roadways because it was so stupid, what makes you think I wouldn't bust an equally stupid idea that would cost about 1,000 times more of mostly taxpayers' money? Look, I mean, it really is this simple. Imagine that I give you $1 billion worth of solar panels, and you've got two choices. You can just have the simplest installation, which is you just build a solar farm out in the desert near a city somewhere that needs the energy. Or you can put those self-same solar panels on a wall through the middle of nowhere, which will, of course, just make them cost more because they'll cost more to install, they'll cost more to maintain, and they'll cost more to transport the energy. And there will be no additional gains whatsoever for putting them on top of the wall. So why do it? Why not just build a solar farm and a wall? What benefits do you actually get by putting the solar panels on the wall? Plus the designs were dumb even to a Mark I eyeball. Now this guy says that I wasn't actually debunking the real solar wall. He says, so Fox and Friends are showing a wall shape that's not the submitted design and you busted it. Oh, congratulations, swing and a miss there, Thunderfoot. Now you should bust the actual design that was submitted and the claims that the designer Thomas Gleason made versus junk done by Fox and Friends. Yes, I know, terrible picking on those people at Fox News with their #1 rating in cable news. Who didn't spot that the solar-powered wall didn't actually have any solar panels on it?
That's the design on the screen right now?
Yes.
So that border wall would look like that?
Yes.
All the way along?
Yes, the photo...
It's a vast solar panel display.
This is genius. Well, we got together a group of creative people, designers, engineers, homeland security experts.
But okay, let's take a look at this new design. So that's it there. So what are the problems with this design? Well, like I say, the US-Mexican border essentially runs east to west within about 30 degrees of the equator. So the best orientation for solar panels, assuming they're not going to be tracking or anything, is basically going to be pointing them straight up in the air, such that the sun rises in the east, is directly overhead for peak generation at midday, and then sets in the west. Angling your solar panels like this is just a really dumb thing to do, because all it means is that you catch less photons for the same sized solar panel. Like I said earlier, Basically, the amount of photons you gather is related to the size of shadow that you cast. What does the new solar wall do? It angles them over at a really steep angle. Plus, of course, has them right underneath the other solar panel such that they're in the shade at midday. And then, of course, it says that the panels on the roof are actually going to track the sun, which is just so stupid. If you're going to have tracking solar panels, they need to be far enough apart that one solar panel, when it's tracking, doesn't cast a shadow on the next. And clearly, these would all cast shadows on each other if they were tracking solar panels. And then, of course, the wall's got great big holes in it, and the pipes aren't even connected because their level of design here is the sort of thing that I could have churned out on Blender or something in a day or so. That's the level of design here. You know, it's one of the biggest indicators of what you're looking at is a scam if it's just got loads of really crappy computer-generated graphics. Plus, of course, all those ones that are really tilted over are going to be on the Mexican side, so they would be easy to remove by thieves. And of course, once they've removed them, they're already over the border. Genius. And nah, dude, you're right. I mean, this is such a much better design than the one on Fox and Friends. And then, of course, you had people who went to extraordinary lengths to try and defend this really stupid idea. Look, another guy called EEVblogs, he also took a look at this solar wall idea as an electrical engineer and came to the conclusion that it was bullshit. And I did completely independent calculations on this, starting from completely different points, and arrived at costs that were pretty similar to his. In fact, they're actually pretty similar numbers to what the guy on Fox and Friends came up with.
So you're talking about $120 million that it could potentially generate.
Well, wait a minute. The thing costs a couple of billion to build.
Between 3 and 4 billion. But you would finance it with bond financing.
And then, of course, there were people who were just defending Trump, saying this really dumb stuff by saying he was just trolling liberals. Really? Really, was he? I mean, was he just trolling liberals when he pulled out of the Paris Climate Accords in the year after the hottest year on record?
But nobody knows for sure. You know, they used to call it global warming. They've had many different, they call it extreme weather. They always change the name to encapsulate everything. I think that there'll be little change here. It'll go up, it'll get a little cooler, it'll get a little warmer like it always has for millions of years. I don't believe that what they say, I think it's a big scam for a lot of people to make a lot of money.
Or was he just trolling when he proposed legislation that would leave 20 million Americans without health insurance? Trolling when he said no one knew healthcare was so complicated.
Now, I have to tell you, it's an unbelievably complex subject. Nobody knew that healthcare could be so complicated.
You know, healthcare is complicated because our healthcare system is so complex. I suffer no illusions that this will be an easy process. Once again, it will be hard. Healthcare is complicated stuff.
Nobody knew that healthcare could be so complicated.
Or when he used the office of the president to complain that he didn't like how a company was ditching his daughter's products. Was he just trolling when he made the baseless accusations that Obama was tapping his phone? Or was he just trolling with all the birther antics? You know, like an extremely credible source called my office and told me that Barack Obama's birth certificate is a fraud. Or this gem. How amazing, the state health director who verified copies of Obama's birth certificate died in a plane crash today. All others lived. Or when he claimed he had the largest crowds in history. Or when he said that Mexico was going to pay for the wall.
Okay, you ready? Who's going to pay for the wall? Who? 100%. 100%.
I mean, was he just trolling when he said he knew better than the generals?
We have great generals. We have great generals.
You said you knew more than the generals about ISIS.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I probably do, because look at the job they've done.
Or was he just trolling when he said that NATO was obsolete? Or was he just trolling when he said he only said that because he didn't know much about it? Like I say, Trump is very good at getting the adulation of people who think in 3- and 4-word slogans.
Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall. Build that wall.
competence really isn't his thing. Seriously, headlines like this tell you almost everything you need to know about Trump's technical competence. Outside of the people who think in 3 and 4 word slogans, Trump is a walking disaster. Hell, it's not even an opinion. I mean, remember Trump University.
At Trump University, we teach success. That's what it's all about, success. It's going to happen to you if you don't learn from the people that we're going to be putting forward, and these are all people that are hand-picked by me.
Well, according to his own depositions, he did not personally select instructors for live seminars.
Then you're just not going to make it in terms of the world of success.
Many instructors and mentors had no experience buying or selling real estate. In fact, one had worked as a salesman for Lowe's and another had been manager for Buffalo Wild Wings.
We started looking at Trump University and discovered that it was a classic bait and switch scheme. It was a scam, starting with the fact that it was not a university.
You must be very aggressive. One passage from the playbook reads, if they complain about the price, remind them that Trump is the best.
Nobody can do it like me. Nobody. Nobody can do it like me. Honestly.
Nobody's stronger than me.
Nobody has better toys than I do. There's nobody bigger or better at the military than I am.
Nobody loves the Bible more than I do.
You might laugh, but that is the same technique that Trump has been using to run for president, and apparently it fucking works.
Nobody builds walls better than me.
Nobody's better to people with disabilities than me.
Nobody's fighting for the veterans like I'm fighting for the veterans.
There's nobody that's done so much for equality as I have.
Because the playbook tells his salespeople, you don't sell products, benefits, or solutions. You sell feelings.
There's nobody more pro-Israel than I am. There's nobody more conservative than me.
There is nobody that respects women more than I do.
Nobody would be tougher on ISIS than Donald Trump.
Nobody's ever had crowds like Trump has had.
There's nobody that understands.
If they complain about the price, remind them that Trump is the best.
The horror of nuclear better than me. And nobody even understands it but me. It's called devaluation.
Nobody knows more about trade than me.
Nobody knows the game better than I do.
Nobody's in the history of this country has ever known so much about infrastructure as Donald Trump.
Nobody knows politicians better than I do.
Nobody knows more about taxes than I do. Nobody knows more about debt than I do.
Nobody knows the system better than me.
Sorry, Trump is not running some sophisticated game of 4D chess here. I mean, it would be like suggesting that getting sued for running a scam university was part of his plan all along. Look, I gave Sarkeesian a hard time for what I saw as scamming folks out of a few $100,000. But honestly, she's in the junior league compared to Trump, who settled his fake university case for $25 million. And in the meantime, Trump is happily doing to America what he did to those who attended Trump University.